Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Moving to Markham. Today we have a special guest, realtor extraordinaire. We have Raymond Ortiz, professional realtor. Actually, first line for Ray's headline should say super guy. By the way, he also sells houses, has a background in fitness, super family man, and everyone in the world loves him. I think everyone. I haven't met anybody that doesn't love you yet. So Ray and I, we've known each other for many years, and excited to have you on the show. You've been with us as a realtor, pro full time realtor. How long now?
Going on to my 3rd year.
Third year in the business, but you've been helping people for like
Oh, yeah,
25 years
20
more.
plus years. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Closer to 25 years. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, so it's been a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey. Now, I mean, at the 3 year mark, what would you say? What have you learned that maybe somebody that's on the fence saying, should I get into real estate? Should I not? Like, kind of behind the scenes, just authentic. What advice would you give anybody thinking about getting into real estate?
It's the word. They gotta be authentic. I think, without patting myself on the back, part of, why I've always done well in business is because I tried to be authentic to myself and make sure that the priority was always the clients first. I found that when I was getting into real estate, especially during those COVID years, I found a lot of realtors were getting into the business because they saw dollar signs. They saw houses flying off the shelves. Like I was here with you during that time, not licensed at the time, but we were seeing houses sell same day after 3 days. You know what I mean? The market was moving fast. And I think people were envisioning just the type of lifestyle that they can buy for themselves without not necessarily putting the client as the number one priority. You know what I mean? So I would say
Which is a recipe for failure,
always.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because don't put the
Yeah,
client's needs first.
of course.
Then
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like for anyone getting into it, there's still some challenges in the market right now, but if you can put them first, you should be okay. It's funny, last year, I got my first award. It was the 100% Club Award.
yes, we're so proud of you. That wasn't to be able to do that. That took me years to get to. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you know what? 100% Club is a prestigious award from Remax. I don't know what the numbers are of how like percentage of agents, how many of them actually get this award, but a very small number. And you did it, which was great.
And it's great. Like, it was great. It was great to get recognized for the work, but it was funny during that time of the award ceremony. Some agents were like, "Oh man, like you're only in your 2nd year and you were able to accomplish this." Like they're like, "How did you do it?" I was like, "You know what? I didn't. I just did it. Like I just got to work. Made sure that the client was focused first. I didn't really think about ever getting any type of award in the industry. But what I'm learning is that if you just keep them first, more awards will come, and with more awards, more income for yourself, better lifestyles. So it all starts with the client first.
I think ultimately, the award that we get on a daily basis is a house key. It's the trust that somebody places in us and allows us to enter their lives. You and I joke when we go to someone's home. We say we're very aware of the difference between that side of the door and this side of the door. And for people to let us into their home, but then also to trust us, to allow us to be their guide.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that roots back to your same message, which is put your clients first and be authentic and be transparent. And I've seen you make some very expensive, difficult decisions for the greater good. I've seen you take situations where, a few times, if we look back at last year, there were a few circumstances where people are like, Ray, I want you as my realtor. And I've seen you literally say, I'm not congruent with what you're looking for. I need to step back. And to me, I'm like, that's authenticity.
It can always be about.
No, no, no. And I think people sense that. And that's why when you say this is a great idea, I think that's why people will believe you, right? So yeah, we sent out an email with some of our client base telling them Tasha's story, and I thought that was so cool because like I remember working out with you and Tasha at the gym. This was 7, 8 years ago, and I remember her saying, Ralph, I'm gonna call you one day. And at the time, real estate wasn't really on your peripheral. It wasn't really in your vision. Uh, I remember her saying to me, one day I'm gonna call you. I'm not ready right now. I'm not ready now, but I will buy a house one day. And I remember it's like years of working out, 6 a.m.s, the boot camps, and and then the stars nearly aligned, and with a little bit of work, I say a lot of work from you. and some creativity, you're able to allow the stars to align so that she went from a mom of, she's 3 kids? A mom of 3 kids who's, like, perpetually renting, single mom, as a nurse, like, so hardworking. I remember her one of the strategies, we had a coffee, and she's like, "I'm just gonna work harder. I'm gonna take extra overtime. I'm gonna do all these things to generate money so I can build a down payment." And I said, "Okay, well, let's sit back. Instead of thinking about just making more money, let's grab a big coffee. I'll block 2 hours. Let's look at your budget and see where you're spending money." And we found all these gaping holes, which meant she was filling buckets, and it was just going to Netflix and credit card interest and, payments for things that you don't need.
Yeah, correct. Like, and you're right. Like sometimes I think the hard part, especially maybe for first time home buyers, is to give up a little bit of their current lifestyle, whether that's going out for dinners once a week, going on vacations X amount per year, giving something in that realm of where it brings a lot of happiness. It might feel like a sacrifice, but it's not. Like it's to open the door towards another type of happiness, which is home ownership. Right. But yeah, no, like there's a lot of rejigging, not just in finances, but in the way that she thought about things. And I think behind the scenes, like the end result is always amazing. But man, that was a year and a half that we started that journey, and I don't know if a lot of even realtors would have had that type of patience. So, if we were to circle back, authenticity for sure you need, but patience, in various circumstances is 100%, required, especially in this game where it's tough because it's 100% commission.
I say results based. I know it is. Ultimately, we get paid based on a commission in most cases. But I say, as a realtor, we are 100% results based, which means if we don't do this thing, we don't get the thing. So, and unfortunately, there's a lot of lack of authenticity, people doing fake stuff, leasing out a crazy expensive car that they can't afford, or renting a house and say they own it, or taking pictures next to private jets that just, pay $50 for, or whatever they do. And that's to prove, "Hey, I got the thing because I can do the thing." And the reality is, we're results based. And, so
Like, I think for realtors, like, it looks better, or it looks cooler when the transactions can happen faster, and of course, we try to do our best work in the shortest amount of time frame, but I think if people, especially realtors, can kinda pass that test of patience, it's long lasting, throughout the career. So, Tosh was a great example of how you have to be, one, patient, but also be creative with rejigging the game plan.
yeah, for sure, and I think ultimately care. But, talking about, home ownership and Tasha's journey, and I know that, we're gonna have specific conversations talking about your personal journey into home ownership recently. You've owned real estate before, and then now you just recently purchased and closed on a brand new place. Congratulations, first off, and, that was a huge win. It's a gorgeous home for your wife and your kids, and, I think that, I was excited to have a small part in that journey. I got to see it, and I'm so proud of you because I think that, you made a huge accomplishment for you and future Ray,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah, everything's set up well. Actually, funny enough, like, the coolest thing about this process was seeing it literally from the ground up. And the neighborhood, there's still really nothing in the neighborhood. Like, it's just dirt for the most part, but you can kind of see the vision of what that development is going to become and what that community is going to become. And it starts with the type of people living in there already. It's just overall cool. Like, it's like birthing a child almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about that, and we making some comments below saying buying a house is not like having a baby, but I totally know what you mean. It's like the inception of something, and then seeing it be created, and then you were a part of it from the ground break to now. And any quick tips you can think of, anyone that's just getting the keys to a brand new home, I would say the first thing you need to do if you just got the keys to your brand new build.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Because new builds are different because we based our whole purchase decision on just floor plans, like PDF files. We didn't get to walk into model homes. For whatever reason, there's not as many of those options as there were back in the day. So there was a lot of faith involved in the decision making process. So I guess, like, if all you're basing it is just on renderings and images first, to then find a professional, like, you're a great source for me because you're a home builder back in the day. So asking you about, "Hey, like, based on the space, what do you think I can do, in terms" everything, rearranging furniture, choosing what kind of finishes, like, get an expert of some sort, whether that's architecturally, design-wise, right? That way they can help paint the picture a little bit better for
And you
you.
had a good experience with the builder overall.
Yeah, yeah, it
And you
was
said
great.
the design internal designer helped kind of give you guidance as to where to spend money or what
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do,
yeah.
and that I think that that's helpful as well.
Yeah, actually, the funny part is, you can leverage technology pretty well nowadays. Like there's a lot of really cool free apps where you just have to enter the dimensions of the room. So literally, I'll take whatever floor plan they gave me, put it into the app, and then you can slide in like 3D pieces of furniture just to get a vision, an idea. It's not exact, but at least it gives you confidence in what your next steps are going to be in
Yeah.
terms of building the home.
Yeah, I think, not far away, maybe 5 years from now, I think people are gonna go to a model home, put on their VR set, and they're gonna walk around and look at what the space is like. Because one of the technologies that we utilize is Matterport, which is those 3D immersive tours. We use it on every one of our listings, and we use it because we feel that it allows buyers to make a more confident decision, and we laugh at, seeing other realtors in the marketplace where they're spending money on bus benches and ads for themselves. Whereas in our company, we focus on advertising the product itself and investing those marketing dollars on the best way to syndicate the product of the home that you are trying to sell. And when people can see on the Matterport tour, they can actually click on the tour 2 different points on the page, and it'll give you exact measurements, of the floor plan. So if you wanna put a couch there, maybe a sectional, it allows you to design that virtually. So if you're trying to buy one of our listings, you have the ability to really, make that decision with confidence.
Yeah, 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 and, like, combine that with other technologies that are already out there, like Google Maps, like, we do a good job of, highlighting the inside of the home, but Google Maps is a good way to kinda take a tour around the
Really
neighborhood,
great
you know what
idea.
I mean? So, overall, like, leverage technology, like, you have to take advantage. It doesn't just have to be based on what you see online with
Yeah.
various photos and videos, you know?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the idea of Google Maps. That's a great idea in the street view. When we're touring properties with buyers and they're trying to decide where to buy and to decide, is this a great community or great street? I always say, let's do a quick lap around the block. Let's count the number of basketball nets and hockey nets. And that'll give you a really good indication of how many kids live on the street. And the second part of that would be look at the height of the basketball nets. And if the basketball nets are all drawn really low, it's a young family community. And if they're all really tall, there's a lot of teenagers on the street. And that's like so easy. Like every time I drive by, that's all I think about.
Mhm, yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm doing the same thing already. Like, basketball nets are not coming up already, but there's a few hockey nets outside on the driveways, right? So, yeah, like all those little things, will give you a little bit more insight into what you're literally moving into, right? So Ralph, like, there's a lot going on, not just in real estate, but in politics right now. So as everybody I'm sure knows by now, our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stepped down. How do you think that's gonna affect us and how the real estate market moves forward? Maybe not even real estate, just us as Canadians.
For sure. I think that our prime minister stepping down, which, may speed up an election process. At minimum, we're looking at an election in the fall. I think it will have a very big impact on real estate. And I've been saying for years, every election cycle, I say the same thing, is that election signs make for sale signs invisible. And what I mean by that is literally you can't see the for sale sign because it says Liberal, PC, NDP on the lawn. So the signs become invisible, but also figuratively. As there's all this, PR about, what political parties stand for and uncertainty that comes with an election, real estate gets pushed to the back burner. So it becomes invisible in a figurative sense. So I think that real estate tends to slow down leading up to an election. Generally, people are not comfortable making multi-million dollar decision or entire lifestyle decision on the brink of uncertainty. So it's the uncertainty of an election that will, I believe, cause some downward pressure on real estate. Not downward pressure on prices, but just a little less busy. That being said, I think the headlines moving forward, as we look at 2025 and beyond, we're going to be looking at headlines of what I call taxes, tariffs, and terrorism. Taxes are always in the news. They're talking about the carbon tax and the impact for people in Ontario. We're seeing, in the city of Toronto, increase of 5.5% in property tax. These are things that impact people's decisions. We talk about tariffs. You can't look at any news without the word tariffs being in there. I think we understand the impact of an American tariff on Canadian goods, and now what we call the advent of an economic war. So it's not war with guns or it's a war of policy, and it's really everyone protecting their financial best interests. And I think Canada is the kid brother to the United States. We're gonna have to roll with the punches. I have a brother that's 4 years older than me, and you know what? When he said, "I wanna practice wrestling," well, guess what? We were practicing wrestling. He wanted to try a move. I didn't have a lot of say in the suplex. Um, but the last thing I'll say is terrorism, and I use that word with great caution because I think it's, a very powerful and dangerous word. But what I've seen in the past is, people like Donald Trump or other leaders will try to demonize an adversary. And for them to fortify the border and for them to make Canada an adversary, there needs to be a threat. Canada as a whole is not, I don't think we're a threat. Uh, but I think that there'll be some element of connection to terror. There's got to be something that the US can say, we need to protect ourselves from those Canadians. And I don't know what that is, but it could be someone, for example, in United States, the recent terrorist attack where a guy drove through 27 people, and they said, "Oh, and news found out that he spent some time in Canada 6 years ago." That's it. What does that have to do with a specific action he did? There was no connection. So those are the things that I would say, have to keep on the horizon just from a macro sense, but we never really know. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in this content, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. We appreciate the engagement, helps us contour the show to make sure that it's actually giving you what you want. So if you have a question about news, about politics, about moving to Markham or the surrounding area, enter it down below. We're going to do our best to really answer the question in a meaningful way. So thanks so much for watching. Until next time, make it a great one.